When we think about animals, we usually imagine sizes within a certain pattern. However, nature does not follow such predictable rules, and proof of this is that in different parts of the world, there are various species that have simply taken the concept of size to the extreme, reaching proportions that make them look like extinct or prehistoric creatures, but that, as incredible as it may seem, actually exist today. And it is exactly with that in mind that we have put together a list of some of them to present in today's video. Giant rabbits. Although most people associate rabbits with small animals, some domestic breeds have been selectively bred over the centuries to reach much larger proportions. Among them, some giant rabbits can exceed 1 meter in length and reach weights above 8 to 10 kilograms, with individual records even higher. These animals descend from lineages mainly bred in Europe for meat and fur production, and despite their impressive size, they are known for having a generally calm and tolerant behavior, which has contributed to their popularity as pets. However, their size requires specific care, such as more space for movement, proper food intake and volume, and attention to joint health, as the high weight can lead to problems over time. Japanese giant spider crab. Known for being the largest living arthropod in existence, the Japanese giant spider crab has as its most impressive feature the span of its legs, which can reach about 3.5 to 4 meters in adult individuals, while the central part of the body is relatively small compared to the length of the legs. However, despite its intimidating appearance, it does not pose a threat to humans. This species inhabits deep waters around Japan, usually between 50 and 600 meters in depth, has a predominantly opportunistic feeding style, including remains of dead animals, mollusks, and other benthic organisms, and its estimated lifespan can exceed several decades, although exact data are still limited in the natural environment. Anaconda. In dark rivers, silent swamps, and flooded areas of South America, there is a predator that practically disappears before attacking, the anaconda. Unlike many large animals, it does not rely on speed or pursuit. This is because its strategy is quite different, and basically consists of remaining motionless, almost invisible in murky water, waiting for the exact moment to strike. In this way, when capturing prey, which may include fish, birds, capybaras, and even caimans, anacondas wrap themselves around the body of these prey and interrupt blood circulation, leading to loss of consciousness and death in a short time. This extraordinary reptile can exceed 5 meters quite frequently, although many larger individuals, above 6 meters, have already been recorded. However, what really stands out is not only its length, but also its mass and strength, considering that the anaconda is among the heaviest snakes on the planet, with a thick and extremely muscular body, which together with its intimidating appearance, has earned it worldwide fame. Giant Orfish. Among the most enigmatic inhabitants of the oceans, the oarfish is often associated with reports of giant sea serpents throughout history, and the reason for this is that this extremely elongated animal can exceed 8 meters in length, being considered the longest bony fish ever recorded, although despite this, its body is relatively thin and lightweight. This species lives in deep waters, usually between 200 and 1,000 meters, which explains why it is rarely seen alive, and when it appears at the surface, it is usually weakened or sick. Its movement is peculiar, using undulations along its long dorsal fin to move in a nearly vertical way, while its diet consists mainly of small crustaceans and plankton, which shows that despite its size, it is not a predator of large prey. Liger. The result of a cross between a male lion and a tigress, the liger is considered the largest feline in the world. Unlike wild species, it does not occur naturally in the wild, since lions and tigers live in different regions. However, in captivity this hybrid can reach over 3 meters in length and weigh more than 400 kilograms. Visually, the liger usually shows characteristics from both parents, such as faint stripes and a slight tendency toward a mane, and this above-normal growth is linked to specific genetic factors, since it does not inherit the same size control mechanisms found in pure species. However, unfortunately, despite its impressive size, many individuals develop health problems throughout life, which currently raises many ethical debates about its breeding. Giant stick insect. If someone placed this insect in front of you, it would be easy to mistake it for a dry branch, until you realize that it simply moves. Discovered in China in 2014, this giant stick insect gained worldwide attention after receiving the title of the largest insect ever discovered, measuring about 62 centimeters in total length, considering its legs extended. Like other stick insect species, it represents one of the most extreme examples of camouflage in the animal kingdom, and contrary to what its enormous size might suggest, it is a completely harmless animal, feeding only on leaves and posing no danger to humans. Peron. If you think horses are already large by nature, the Percheron certainly takes that idea to another level. Originating from France, this draft horse was developed over centuries for heavy work, such as pulling carriages, plows, and even industrial equipment. An adult Percheron can easily exceed 1.80 meters in height at the withers and weigh more than 1,000 kilograms. However, despite its impressive strength and size, what stands out most about this breed is its temperament, considering that they are extremely docile, calm, and cooperative animals, which were historically widely used in agriculture and transportation before mechanization and are still valued today in rural activities and exhibitions. Giant Malaysian Katydid. In the middle of the tropical forests of Southeast Asia, there is an insect that completely breaks the idea that grasshoppers and katydids are small. Commonly known as the giant Malaysian katydid, this species can exceed 15 centimeters in body length, in addition to having long and robust legs that further enhance its imposing appearance. These insects are mainly herbivores, feeding on leaves, flowers, and plant matter, and this large size is precisely the result of favorable environmental conditions and abundant food in tropical forests. However, besides plants, records indicate that they may also consume small invertebrates occasionally, and unlike many discrete insects, it is a species that has strong mandibles and is capable of biting if handled, although it does not pose a serious danger to humans. Goliath Frog. When it comes to size among amphibians, almost no species surpasses the Goliath frog. Native to regions of West Africa, especially Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea, it lives near fast-flowing rivers and clean waters, and can exceed 30 centimeters in body length and weigh more than 3 kilograms, being considered the largest frog in the world. The diet of this species includes insects, crustaceans, and even small vertebrates, and despite its enormous size, it is a discreet animal that, unlike many other frogs, does not have a vocal sac, which means it does not croak like most, and unfortunately is threatened with extinction due to hunting for food and trade, destruction of its natural habitat, and pollution. Saltwater Crocodile. If there is a predator that dominates virtually any environment where it appears, it is certainly the saltwater crocodile. Considered the largest living reptile on the planet, it can exceed 6 meters in length and weigh more than 1,000 kilograms in exceptional cases, although most adults are smaller. Found in regions of Asia and Oceania, inhabiting rivers, estuaries, and even the open sea, these extremely territorial and opportunistic animals possess one of the most powerful bite forces ever recorded in the animal kingdom, and they sit at the top of the food chain. These crocodiles can capture anything from fish and birds to large mammals, and after capturing their prey, they use the famous death roll to disorient and tear it apart. In addition, another interesting fact is that, unlike many other animals, saltwater crocodiles do not avoid confrontations, considering that in most cases, they are the ones that efficiently dominate the environment through sheer brute force. Great Dane. Originally developed for hunting large animals such as wild boars, but widely bred as a companion dog today, the Great Dane is among the most impressive domestic dog breeds in the world, and the reason for this is that it is widely known as the largest dog breed in the world, capable of exceeding 80 centimeters in height at the withers and reaching more than 90 kilograms. To give you an idea, when standing on their hind legs, some individuals of this breed can easily exceed 2 meters in height. However, despite their imposing size, they are often called gentle giants, thanks to their friendly, affectionate, and sociable temperament. Giant African land snail. It may seem unlikely, but a snail can reach truly impressive dimensions, and proof of this is the species known as the giant African land snail, which can exceed 20 centimeters in shell length and is simply one of the largest terrestrial mollusks in the world. Originally from Africa, it has spread to various regions of the planet, often in an invasive manner, due to its high reproduction rate and adaptability, which make it currently considered a pest in many countries. This species feeds on a wide variety of plants and organic matter, which contributes to its success in different environments, and besides the remarkable feature of its enormous size and being an extremely slow animal, another point of concern is that it can host parasites that affect humans, which requires caution when handling it. Chinese giant salamander. Hidden in fast-flowing rivers, there is a creature that seems to have come straight from a distant past. The Chinese giant salamander. Considered the largest amphibian in the world, it can exceed 2 meters in length, which together with its wrinkled skin and almost prehistoric appearance, make it one of the most impressive animals on this list. However, despite its large size, the Chinese giant salamander is a discreet predator and spends most of its time hidden among rocks, emerging mainly at night to hunt fish, crustaceans, and other small aquatic animals, using the simple and efficient strategy of remaining motionless and striking quickly when prey approaches. Maine Coon. And if we talk about a giant dog breed on this list, it is only fair that we also mention a giant cat breed. With a long muscular body covered in dense fur, the Maine Coon can exceed 1 meter in total length, including the tail, and is currently considered the largest domestic cat breed in the world. Originally from the United States, this cat adapted to cold climates, which explains its thick fur and bushy tail. And contrary to what many people think, the large size of the Maine Coon is not its only remarkable feature, considering that it is also known for its sociable and intelligent behavior, often interacting very well with humans and even learning complex commands. Coconut crab. As we have already seen, the Japanese giant spider crab is the largest arthropod in the world, and now we will talk about the coconut crab, which holds the title of the largest terrestrial arthropod in the world. Found on tropical islands in the Indian and Pacific Oceans, it can reach more than 1 meter in leg span and weigh up to around 4 kilograms, and it is also famous for its strength. This is because its extremely powerful claws are capable of cracking even coconuts, although this is not its only food source, since it also consumes other fruits, seeds, and organic matter. And unlike other crab species, this one also has the major distinction that adults live entirely on land, being even capable of climbing trees with ease. Giant sunfish. We have already talked about the longest bony fish in the world, and now it is time to talk about the heaviest bony fish in the world. Commonly known as the giant sunfish, this species can exceed an impressive 2,000 kilograms in weight, and its laterally flattened body has an almost circular shape, with dorsal and anal fins that move in a synchronized way as it travels through the water. The giant sunfish lives in tropical and temperate oceans, spending much of its time near the surface, where it is often seen sunbathing, a behavior that helps with thermal regulation and the removal of parasites by seabirds. And despite its impressive size, its diet is mainly composed of low-energy organisms such as jellyfish, which forces the animal to consume large amounts of food each day in order to sustain itself. Galapagos Tortoise. When it comes to longevity and size in the reptile world, the Galapagos tortoise is certainly one of the greatest references. This is because these animals can exceed 2 meters in length and weigh more than 400 kilograms, being considered the largest species of land tortoise in existence. Native to the Galapagos Islands, these tortoises live in varied environments, from arid areas to more humid regions, and have a herbivorous diet, spending much of their time feeding on vegetation. And speaking of feeding, their slow metabolism is directly linked to their impressive longevity, allowing them to live for more than 100 years, with even longer records documented. Titan beetle. Another insect on our list that stands out for its enormous size is the Titan beetle. This giant, which can be found in the Amazon rainforest, can exceed 17 centimeters in length, being one of the largest beetles ever recorded, and it has extremely strong mandibles capable of cutting thin wood and even causing significant injuries if handled. Curiously, very little is known about its full life cycle, since its larvae are rarely observed in the wild. However, it is believed that they develop inside decomposing logs, while the adults, on the other hand, do not feed, living only long enough to reproduce using the energy accumulated during the larval stage. Moose. When it comes to large animals in terrestrial environments, the moose is certainly one of the most impressive examples. Considered the largest member of the deer family, it can exceed 2 meters in height at the shoulders and weigh more than 700 kilograms. However, what stands out the most in these animals is their antlers, present in the males of the species, which can reach nearly 2 meters in span and are used both for fights and for display. The moose is a generally solitary animal, and despite its large size, it is surprisingly agile and also an excellent swimmer, capable of traveling long distances in water. And although it is not a predator and not a direct threat to humans, it can become extremely dangerous when it feels threatened or disturbed. Goliath Birdeater. And to finish our list, let's talk about an animal that easily causes an immediate impact on anyone who comes across one of these individuals, the Goliath Birdeater. Considered the largest spider in the world in terms of body mass, it can reach up to about 30 centimeters in leg span, with a robust body covered in hairs. Found in the tropical forests of South America, this spider is a nocturnal predator that feeds mainly on insects and small vertebrates, such as amphibians and rodents, and can also consume small birds in rare cases. And contrary to what many imagine, its venom does not pose a serious danger or risk of death to humans. However, it has an efficient defense mechanism of urticating hairs that can cause intense irritation to the skin and eyes, which together with its giant size and frightening appearance make most people have nightmares just thinking about encountering one of them. But what about you? Which was the most surprising and fascinating animal on this list? Leave in the comments which one impressed you the most. Well, that's all for today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.